Okay, sorry about that. So, I got a phone call. Apparently, YouTube just turns off when you get phone calls. Anyways, I was just mentioning the other defense mechanism is terror management theory. And remember, the defense mechanisms are protecting your ego. So, terror management theory actually is supposed to protect you when you're feeling anxious. And I'll give you the textbook definition here. It says a theory of death-related anxiety explores people's emotional and behavioral responses to reminders of their impending death. So, they say if you wrote a short essay on dying, it provokes terror management defenses. For example, death anxiety increases contempt for others and esteem for oneself. So remember, you're protecting your ego. That's the whole idea. So this is when writing something about death or thinking about death or doing a meditation on death. That would be your response. And so terror management theory and the false consensus effect are two kind of modern day defense mechanisms. Okay, I did want to mention a little bit about Module 57 because Module 57 and I'm not going to make these videos all that long, but Module 57 is your second foray into humanistic psych. So humanistic psychology is kind of so the majority of psychology is always kind of thinking about what's wrong with people. It's kind of like a negative connotation. Humanistic is promoting growth. And so your two main humanistic people are one you haven't seen before. That's Rogers. And the other one is Abraham Maslow, who you saw in the hierarchy of needs. And so the hierarchy of needs we've already talked about, like to become a self-actualizing person. That was your Maslow's hierarchy, remember, with all the different levels and stuff. This very top was like self-transcendence or self-actualization, then self-transcendence. The bottom was, food and drink, and then it works its way up. You should definitely revisit those levels again just to make sure you got the order correctly. But the whole idea of Maslow was to promote growth in humans and to understand their personality in terms of like what's the best version of themselves, which would be that highest level. Okay. Carl Rogers did this thing called person-centered therapy, and he did person-centered perspective, and he wanted to promote a culture or a feeling of, remember, it was like genuineness, acceptance, and empathy. Those were like the three main things that Rogers did, and that was his person-centered perspective. And so he tried to give people a lot of space to have issues, have problems, and just feel accepted for who they are. It's kind of similar to when you find your identity when you're a teenager. Going back to Erik Erikson's idea of you're kind of going through identity versus role confusion, and when you're trying to find your identity, you're trying to be accepted for who you are, and so that's what Rogers is trying to get across in his person-centered perspective, is like feel comfortable in your own skin. And so the most important one was in acceptance. He said this thing called unconditional positive regard. So unconditional positive regard and I think knowing that we all make mistakes and stuff, just having a sense of acceptance for someone else is really important for people to open up. So if they make a mistake, sometimes you just kind of say, "Hey, you made a mistake. No big deal. Let's move past it." And I think that was Carl Rogers' big talking point, was unconditional positive regard. Okay, so that's it for today. I'll continue on tomorrow with another video, and we'll see you soon.